safety word. Why is it ladies first? Why can't people get what they deserve?
Hello, hello. I'm Italian, but like from Italy, you know. I'm not a cosplayer from New Jersey. Yeah, I didn't watch too much Sopranos. I grew up in an Italian family, and it was a typical Italian family. You see, my mom is Catholic, and my dad hates women. Yes, Daddy is an angry, conservative, sexist man, but he has also some flaws. No, come on, I can say something nice about my dad, but not today. Not really in the mood. And you see, my dad is a patriarchal figure, but this is not an exception. I feel the whole Italian society is very patriarchal to this day. But for the first time in history, for the first time, we have a woman as a prime minister, Giorgia Meloni. And now I don't know how this happened. I don't know. It seems almost by magic, but it's real war magic, so it's shitty, you know? It's like, if a woman you want to elect, a fascist party you must select. Yeah, she's fascist. Look, in the 1920s in Italy we invented fascism. In 2020s we invented feminist fascism. That's progress. Give us 100 years. 100 years, we're gonna have non-binary robotic fascism. And at that point, the fascist robots will be the only robots left with no artificial intelligence. That's called coherence. The society is patriarchal. You can see it even in the language. I don't know if you know. To say that a woman holds all the power in a romantic relationship, we say un pelo di figa tira più di un carro di buoi. Which means that a single hair of pussy has more pulling power than a cart pulled by oxen. All true. Now, a ox is a big cow, you know. A single hair of pussy has more pulling power than multiple big cows. So I'm gonna speak to the ladies in the room for a second. Okay, if you're planning a trip to Italy, please do not shave. You will be losing a lot of pulling power. You know? Our Prime Minister Bush is pulling the whole country in the wrong fucking direction. Yeah, it's like that. As I said, my mom is Catholic, always being very religious, took religion very seriously, forced me to take religion very seriously. And so when I was younger, for 3 long years, I was an altar boy at the local church. And this experience left me permanent damage because the priest was young and hot. Yeah, and that's not the problem, of course. The problem is the priest was young and hot, and not even once he tried to flirt with me. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the damage on the self-esteem of a young virgin boy? And that's why nowadays I get so angry when they say all priests are pedophiles. Maybe, but they also have standards. I grew up in a small village. I grew up in a small village, very conservative. When I was a teenager, there was no internet, so we were saying the wildest shit, and nobody was checking on us. It was, in a way, beautiful. We used to say a lot, non c'è cosa più divina che scoparsi la cugina. I'm gonna translate. There is no more divine thing in the world than fucking your own cousin. Male, of course. No. Female, of course. If it was male, that would be fucked up. You know, it turns out I only have male cousins. And you know what they say? When life gives you lemon, you do bad stuff. No, I like this sentence. I like this sentence because it tells you a lot about Italian society, where we draw the line of civilization. You know, you can have sex with your cousin, but you cannot have kids with your cousin because we're not British. Yeah. I am mad at the Catholic Church. I am mad at the Italian society. But I'm also mad at pride. Yes, that pride. Because now, in the 21st century, it feels that a bunch of Americans want to tell us, Italians, how to be gay. To us. We exported gay orgies north of the Alps 2,000 years ago, you know? We made the French. It was not their idea. It was not their idea, you know. Giulio Cesare took a bunch of bisexual soldiers, you know, crossed the Alps, found a population of barbarians who were weaponizing their testosterone against women, and he was like, you know, you could also stick it there. Magically, the barbarians became refined, and now they have Louis Vuitton bags. I don't know. I grew up in a village also that in a culture that they don't like drugs at all. Drugs are bad, and they only like alcohol. You know, our culture is so close to alcohol that my mom tells me that back in the day, if a newborn was crying a lot, you know, they would just put some drops of spirit in the milk, so the newborn will sleep peacefully. And well, luckily we evolved in Italy since then. We don't do these barbaric acts anymore. We stopped making babies. But really, like. We are trying sometimes. No, this distracted me a lot, I have to say. No, but you know, this relationship with alcohol is weird. You know, if you go back to my village and you ask people what is alcohol, for half of them it would be alcohol is culture, and for the other half would be their whole personality. And so at a certain point I realized that I was curious about drugs, but my society, my culture didn't give me any tool to understand drugs. So I started reading books about them, you know? And my favorite is a book titled Animals Who Take Drugs. But at first it was a deception because it's not about British tourists in Barcelona. It's a scientific book. And it has a powerful message, okay? That we take drugs because first we saw animals taking drugs. For example, we take peyote because first we saw the goats taking peyote, you know? The goats eat peyote, falls on the ground, you know, trembles for hours, then slowly sobers up, stands up, eats peyote and does it again. So the goats have a eat, sleep, rave, repeat protocol. And I like this book because there is also scientific experiments in the book, you know, for example, one with spiders that I love, you know, they gave flies filled with drugs to spiders and they observed their behavior. And my favorite is the one that got weed. Because, you know, the little fella built half of a perfect spider web. He made a masterpiece and then just gave up. I can imagine that the spider got lazy, you know, sat down on the sofa, put on Netflix, and ate a bag of crispy mosquitoes, which is honestly very, very relatable. I don't know why, but you have the vibe of people who like music festivals. And I was at a music festival last September, you know, and it was very cool. It was in nature, it was nice, you know. I was having a great time, but at a certain point, one night, I realized we were surrounded by wild boars, wild pigs. And those are dangerous, you know, and it was honestly terrifying, especially when the mushrooms kicked in. But then I thought about it, and actually, it must have been more terrifying for the wild pigs, because they never had listened to techno before. They must have thought that World War III is here. Instead, they just had to wait a few more months. I am in a weird life position right now because I feel like my partner is trying to break up with me, but they're not very good at it. And I don't want to help her because I think this is an essential skill you have to develop as an adult. It's coming. I see it coming. It's really sad when you fight with a partner, even if it's fictional. For example, I saw a movie a few days ago. It's about a couple. She's deaf. And he speaks, he learns sign language. At the beginning, everything is beautiful. Then he learns the sign language, so they start speaking, which is the problem. And at a certain point, they have this massive fight. Then they're like, and I was like, oh my God, they fight like the Italians. But it's so much better because they don't make any of those annoying sounds that the Italians make. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I think every partner has a legitimate reason to break up with some other partner usually, and I think my partner has a reason, but I also think it's her fault a bit because she's bisexual, and her first relationship was with a woman, and that woman set the bar way too high, you know. Don't get me wrong, I'm great boyfriend material for the lack of competition, but I would be below average as a girlfriend. You've been fucking lovely, thank you for coming here.